G'day guys, and welcome back to another episode. So, on one of my most recent videos, we had some great success at Upper Collarband Reservoir catching some beautiful big Murray cod. And during that session, it got me thinking a little bit about some of the mistakes that we as anglers make, and the one big mistake that a lot of anglers make that they don't really think about. So when we're not catching fish, we can blame things like our gear, the lures that we're using, the color of lure that we're using, rigs, all those sorts of things. However, the one mistake that I see myself making, as well as a lot of other anglers, is timing. Now, this doesn't just apply to Murray cod, which can be notoriously difficult to catch, and the species that I've been chasing mostly lately, as well as the species I'll probably be bringing up a little bit more in this video, but it applies to all the species we go out there and target. At the end of the day, if we get our timing wrong and we're not going at the right time to try and target those fish, we're really playing on hard mode. Now, as far as the types of timing where people make errors there, is seasonal as well as daily. So we're going to do a little bit of discussing of both of those, a little bit about monthly as well, and how we can work on that more to ensure that we're going out and maximizing our chances of catching a fish. Now, one of the big mistakes I see people make is they're going at the wrong time of year. So often I'll get messages around July and August from people asking about wanting to go and catch things like bass or snapper. And those are the complete wrong time of year to be chasing those species. Water temperatures are down, the fish tend to be a lot more lethargic. In the case of snapper, they haven't quite come into the bay to start spawning yet, and they're just not going to be there. Sure, you can go out and you might get lucky, you might get one, you might even get two, but at the end of the day, it's just the wrong time of year. So seasonal timing is very, very important, and knowing what times of year those fish are going to be most active or even just there altogether. So if you're fishing at a certain time of the year, maybe what you shouldn't be asking yourself is, where or how should I chase this species at this time of year? Maybe you should be asking yourself, what species are most active at this time of year? And that will determine how you go about planning your fishing trips. Okay, so we're going to talk about daily timing now. Now, this is a little bit more sort of in-depth here because there's a lot of different factors that go into what time of day you're going to go and target fish. So essentially, we've got lots of things that we want to think about. So in the saltwater, we're going to think a little bit about moon phase, a little bit about tides, barometer, weather conditions, all those sorts of things. In the freshwater, we think about a lot of that stuff, obviously, except for tides. But one thing that I've found lately that is important to pay attention to is the lunar transit, which is basically when the moon is going to be in its meridian above or in the meridian below the earth. Those times and an hour sort of each time of the moon meridian are really, really good times to be chasing fish like Murray cod. So obviously what we're trying to do here is align all of those factors in a session to make sure we're going out and having the best possible chance of finding fish. Now, depending on the species, this is going to take a little bit of research, which you can do online. You can use Google, you can use ChatGPT, or alternatively, if you know any gurus who are really, really good at chasing a species, have a chat to them, because they've probably got some theories themselves on when those best times are going to be for chasing the species that you're wanting to chase. At the end of the day, we can fish the perfect spot, we can have the perfect bait or the perfect lure with the perfect presentation, but if we get our timing wrong, like I said, we're really, really playing on hard mode here. So why do anglers make this mistake? So at the end of the day, there's a couple of different reasons. First one is, well, for a lot of us, we fish on our days off. And look, I'm guilty of this just like everyone else. I work full time and I can only go fishing on my days off. And I've got 2 days off typically a week, sometimes only one. But what I'm starting to do now is check out all those weather patterns on my day off when I know that the fish are in season, and trying to maximize my opportunity of seeing the species that I want to target. Now, another reason why we might fish outside of the best time to do so is because we're just not necessarily aware. And for me, the Saluna thing, I always kind of knew about it, but I never really paid much attention to it. And that's something nowadays I actually pay a lot more attention to, especially when I'm going to chase Murray cod. Okay, so let's talk about a solution to the timing error that people make. So there's a few things that we can do here. First thing, obviously, research, research, research. If you want to go and target a species, really look into when those best times are to go and target those species. Once you've done that, start keeping a logbook. Start tracking things like your moon phase, your tides, your lunar transit periods, your barometer, your weather conditions, all those things. Anything that you think might be worthy of noting, make sure you write it down, keep a spreadsheet, and keep that information so you can start tracking patterns. One thing you can do is conditional formatting on your spreadsheet. And if you're sort of seeing, if you do a conditional format and you start putting in something fairly often for a fish you catch, it's going to actually highlight that on the spreadsheet, and you're going to start to form the pattern on what those fish are doing and why they might be feeding during those times. So maybe one thing that we all as anglers, including myself, need to start doing is not asking ourselves, what lure should I be using here? But maybe ask ourselves, should I even be fishing here to begin with? Now, the place where I've seen most of this sort of come together with me, with getting the timing right, obviously has been Upper Colaban Reservoir lately with the Murray Cod catches that I've been getting. So usually what I do is I'd be very stubborn. I'd get down there really early, fish top water, and then go trolling for the rest of the day. And it has worked for me getting them off the top, but at the same time, I haven't had that much success doing both. And part of that is because my timing on one or the other is usually better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head out tomorrow. We're going to have a look at the Saluna forecast in the morning, and we're going to see when that bite window is and see how we go with getting our timing right. Let's do it.
One eternity later.
All right, guys, so we've come up to Upper Colaban Reservoir, and at the moment the Saluna doesn't look great, but there is a good window coming up a little bit later. So I'm going to get started now, just trolling like we usually do. I've got the Disco Duck size 2 stump jumper on this rod. On the one in the holder over here, I've got Xeric Slickback in black, white with a bit of red. So start fishing, and yeah, hopefully when we get to that Saluna window, we might start seeing some action. Oh, might have come off. No, it's still on there. I think we've got a little redfin here. I switched over to a small lure because we're still not in the transit period. I figured we'd try small lure. So obviously, if you're not in the lunar transit hot period, you're still going to catch little redfin like that. So we'll get him off the hook and we'll get him back. See you, mate. That was just on a little size 3 stump jumper and laser red sort of colour. So we'll keep fishing. We're still waiting on this lunar transit to arrive. We've still got a couple of hours or so until it gets here. And hopefully the fishing's going to hot up a bit then. Oh, there we go. We're on. I reckon where it's hit, that's most likely yellow belly. So we're coming up on that Saluna transit time now, and it looks like the fish are waking up. There we go. What do we got? Looks like a yellow belly to me. Yeah, nice yellow there. Grab this net. Just trolling along the rock wall here, and obviously this nice yellow was lying in there. We're waiting for something to come out. So we had a time of minor activity a little earlier, and during that time all we were catching was little reddies. And we're coming up on that Saluna transit. I think it's transit up, which means the moon should be somewhere up overhead. And this lovely yellow belly has hit the size 3 stumpy. Just get the hooks out of him and get the lure out of the net so I don't end up wearing it. There we go, it's a nice little yellow belly there. So, proof of concept there that the Saluna transit time is generally going to be a good time to be fishing. And it's not even that high a rating today actually. The day rates is average, and then the activity around the Saluna transit is average to high. So that's proof of concept, like I said. And yeah, I think we'll get him back, and hopefully we can find another one, maybe even a cod. See ya, mate. Off he goes. Alrighty, let's get him back out and keep fishing. Oh yeah, there we go. Yep, big hit. Coming around cod corner as always. And we are right on the Saluna window now. It's just started. What do we got? I wonder if it's cod. What a weight. Oh. Oh, big yellow. Thumping big yellow. He's not that big, but he's a good size. There we go. That is a beautiful yellow belly, that. There we go, that's a lovely yellow belly, that. That hit the aftershock size 3 stump jumper, so I reckon we'll get him back. Just don't want to break my rod here, so let's grab my paddle, push this off the bank. Yeah, lovely yellow. Off he goes. So we're literally right on the Saluna transit, the Luna transit window right now. It literally started about 5 minutes ago. And right on cue, we managed to get that nice yellow belly there. As I was coming around the corner here, just before I got there, I thought to myself, oh, we're right on the window now. Oh, hopefully we're going to get a bite soon. And sure enough, beautiful yellow belly there. So keep fishing, and yeah, hopefully we can find that cod as well. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, it's not the highest rating today. Quite often with your Saluna predictor, you'll get ratings of like, average, high, and very high. And today's average, it's not the best rating. But as you can see, even on days like today where typically it's going to be hard fishing, if you fish that Saluna window, you're going to find fish generally. You've got to do a little bit of miles like I am on the troll. But if you put in the hard yards, you will find a fish. So as I mentioned in the pre-fishing sort of chat, like sometimes we fish when we can, and we don't fish during the best times. So if we've got some time off, we're going to go fishing. The best thing to do is do a little bit of homework there to find when the best windows are. So you're not spending a whole day fishing wondering when the fish are going to bite. You're going to be fishing in a window knowing that's when the fish are most likely going to bite. Here's a general tip when trolling lures for cod and yellowbelly at Upper Colaban Reservoir, and most reservoirs for that matter. There are 2 types of structure the fish are typically congregating on: steep rock walls and submerged trees. When you're trolling lures around the latter, the fish seem to love it when the lure bounces around on the branches and trunk. Granted, it is a dangerous form of fishing and you will lose some lures even if you have a lure retriever, but if you want to be in with a shot of catching some natives, then you need to live a little bit dangerously sometimes. Oh, there we go. Got a fish on here. Oh, he's on a snag. We got him off it. I think this is another yellow belly. We've got the spinning gear out now, which would have a little bit of fun here on the yellows. This is a good size yellow actually. Jeez, he's inhaled it. He really wanted that bloody stump. Holy dooly. That's a good yellow belly, that. And we are in that Saluna window now. Well and truly fish are obviously on the bite. So let's, geez, he's inhaled it. Oh, I'm not a bit worried about this one. Hopefully we can get these hooks out. There we go, guys. That is a great yellow belly. That's around the 50 centimetre mark. A bit bigger than what we've been getting today, so I reckon we're going to let this guy go. And yeah, hopefully we can find that cod. So as I mentioned, we're in the Saluna transit period now, and yeah, the fish are definitely on the bite now and feeding pretty well. Even on a day like today where it's average, we're still getting some good fish. So let's get this guy back. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you've learned a little bit about what I believe is the biggest mistake that anglers make, both new anglers and anglers that are more seasoned. So guys, next time you're planning a new trip, make sure you do your research. Make sure you check all your reports like your Saluna, your weather, your barometer, and all that stuff, and see what the forecast is looking like. Keep a record of all your catches, and hopefully you're going to start building a bit of a pattern to help you catch more fish in the future. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Flick us a like if you haven't. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.